Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn, and today I want to talk about two really important events that are coming up on the calendar. The first of these is the vernal equinox, the spring equinox, which happens on the 20th in just a few days' time. And that's followed on the 25th by a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Let's dive in straight away. I have cards to represent all of this. Let's dive straight in and talk a little bit about the equinox. Well, this is an amazing time of year. It's the point at which the sun crosses the sign line and moves so that we have incrementally more daylight hours than we have hours of night. And this to me really is the start of spring. It's a palpable energy. It's something that it's a click. It's something that we feel inside. I certainly feel it very strongly. My own sun is on the opposite side of this. So we have the equinox in Aries here, and my sun is in Libra in the equinoctial fall time when the sun sinks and we have the sun in fall there. So this Aries energy would be represented in the tarot by the Aries card, the Emperor. And we're looking here at the divine masculine energy. We're looking at Mars. We're looking at this amazing thrust that is needed to generate and create the new life of the spring. It's what Dylan Thomas called the force that through the green fuse drives the flower. This is a confident energy that cannot doubt itself. A bird cannot question whether it should peck its way out of an egg. A shoot coming up out of the ground cannot question whether it should burst out. It simply must. It's the push of the life force itself. And there is a message here to us all that we cannot seek justification for what and who we are. We must be that thing that we are. And the spring energy fills us, I think, with a sense of hope, adventure, of restlessness, of all that wonderful spring Aries energy that personally, and I'm sure all of us too, we just wait for this. We wait for this to come again. It's a wonderful, wonderful moment. So we have the Aries energy there, sitting right on the spring equinox, pushing forward for the springtime. And then its opposite, the other end of the spectrum, we have Venus, we have Libra. So one of these is concerned with the self and the other with others. One is about drive, one is about nurturing, relationship. They sit opposite sides of the spectrum. I want to talk a little bit now about the eclipse, because the eclipse, which follows just 5 days after the equinox, the eclipse happens in the sign of Libra, which is ruled by Venus. And the full moon will be in Libra and it will be eclipsed. We can see here in this card the the Eight of Cups. Sorry, the Eight of Cups. The eclipse here happening. The moon is being obscured there by the sun. And this figure has to leave the comfort zone The cups are all assembled there and everything seems fine, but this is a call. No, it's not enough. You can't stay in the familiar here. You can't stay in the old patterns. Even though they've served you, even though there are good things there, you have to grow, you have to move, you have to develop. And this is the call of this eclipse. Now, eclipses always happen close to the moon's nodes. There are two nodes of the moon that we take notice of, and one is the south node and one is the north node. The south node is the direction we're coming from, and the north node where we need to go, the route of evolution, where we need to advance to develop. And I mentioned a few weeks back that right on the North Node, we have Chiron, which is this energy of wounding. If you haven't seen that video, please do look it over. It's looking at Chiron and our wounds. It's quite an interesting one to inform this video here. So I won't go back over that. But I will say that we have Mars, Aries on the North Node as the direction of travel here as a collective at this moment. This is an 18-month period. We also have Venus or Libra on the South Node. So much as there are many, many wonderful qualities to do with nurturing, relating, relationship, harmony, beauty, creativity, all the things associated with Venus, at this particular point in time, the direction is towards this assertion. Now, we can see here that this relates very much to the polarities of the male and the female. And those energies are not simply contained within men and women, they're internal energies within us. We all contain the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine, and we're trying to bring them into a balance. So we perhaps need to look at the south node here, this full moon that's going to be in eclipse, which is showing us that we really have to step into the sun energy, which is the energy of self-expression. This energy of being true to who we really are. Now, part of the detriment of the sign of Libra is that the sun is in full fall there. It is harder for it to express in many ways in its full individuality and power, because this sign is always thinking about the other. How is this being received? Is this right for me and for you? There's constant negotiation going on. And at its worst, this can lead to not fulfilling your true self because you're so concerned about other people, of looking for reflection and validation in other people, and in also sacrificing your needs to the needs of other people, being the midwife to their talents, nurturing them and not nurturing the self enough. Now, of course, we'd all be in the most dreadful mess if people didn't nurture and care. These are essential qualities, especially for rearing young. But we mustn't forget that we also need to nurture the qualities of our inner being, that cannot be neglected. And that at all costs, we must avoid martyrdom. This is not a good thing. If we neglect ourselves, martyr ourselves, throttle our own needs and desires, someone somewhere as well as us is going to pay the cost. Either they're going to ride roughshod over us and that's bad for them, or they're going to have terrible guilt because deep down they will know that this sacrifice has been too much. And in terms of our own soul, it's certainly no go. We cannot individuate whilst we have this attitude. To be ourself, our true self, is to give from our true self in a full and generous way. But we must first, to our own selves, be true. I quote Shakespeare here: above all, to thine own self be true. For then it follows, as night follows day, thou cannot be false to any man. I think there's great truth in that. And that is the core of this Aries North Node, of the equinox, and of this eclipse in the sign of Libra. Now, this notion of, evolve into your full self, be your true self, we talk about it a lot, but sometimes we think, well, what is the process by which I can do that? What will guide me to that? And there are many routes. I mean, I think one, a quiet time, alone, reflective time. And I know that can be very hard for people to grasp and have in a busy life. I get that. But this can just moments of being with the self, of being quiet with the self, of some inner listening. I think that is essential. But also the planet Venus itself really helps us here, because Venus doesn't think its way to anything. I mean, in the sense of aesthetics that comes from Venus, it's very much how you feel about things. How does this make me feel inside? How does this sit with me? How do I feel? And it will be very helpful thinking about your own the desires of your own soul. Just sit with deeply and quietly. How do I feel about this? What are my feelings inside about this? It can be too easy to stay in the head, to stay in this point where we're looking for external validation, to stay with the society's view of us, and not tune in, honor, and listen to that inner feeling. It really is so very important, and such a clear guide to us. Of course, being who we are, it's not like who we're meant to be is some sort of fixed thing. We're an evolving soul with a living edge. We're not done. We're not finished. There's not this point, oh, yeah, I'm my true self now. That's all sorted. It's just not like that. We're a living, evolving thing. And of course, we can fall asleep at times and wake back up at times. We can drift. We have to keep coming back into alignment. And I just was thinking of a spirit level. The spirit levels. I've never put up a straight shelf in my life, I have to say, but the idea of a spirit level with the center point where you have to keep the liquid level. I think accessing ourselves is a little like that it's a balancing act, that it's a tuning act, that it is fine-tuned, that it's the job of every day, it's the job of every moment of every day. But it's never, ever too late to tune into that self. It is never too late to be who we are. Never, ever. We strive for that over this and many lifetimes. So not exclusively, but women in particular have been trained through many, many generations to put the self onto the back burner. Don't be selfish. You must be concerned with others. And of course, we don't wish to be selfish. That's not what this is about. But we all have to be self-realized. We have to work towards that. This drive to be who you are, it isn't selfishness. It's far from it. It's actually your most sacred duty. You must evolve as a sovereign being. That's a something you cannot ignore. It's a duty you can't put off, really. And this North Node in Aries is telling us that loud and clear. It's now. You really must evolve and do it now. And be, like Oscar Wilde said, be who you are, dear, because all the other parts are taken. This is about us, our individuation, our coming into being. Now, just to finish with, I drew 3 cards about this. And first off, I got this juggling act. I think this shows me the scales again. I'm thinking of the balancing of that spirit level. What a good word that is as well. I didn't really think about that, but spirit level, yeah. So this difficult balancing act in the world. This is the heaviness of daily living and trying to juggle something along there, this need to be who we are, to balance our own sovereignty with our loving relationships with others. But the next card I got was this one, that if we can do it, it helps within us, if you like, this divine marriage of the masculine and the feminine, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, coming into balance, both being honored. This is a wonderful possibility here. And if we can do this individually, maybe we can, help it happen as it desperately needs to in our world. And then the last card I got was this beautiful card for the age of Aquarius, the star. How perfect is that? And this card of hope, of humanity, such a beautiful, beautiful promise of better things there for us. So I'm always talking to myself when I do these videos. I'm in the thick of it, the same as you, struggling, trying to evolve, to be sovereign, to make the journey. So I hope that with the big, beautiful push of the equinox, and with that full moon eclipse in Libra shortly after, we can help some of this come into being. I do hope so. If you've stayed with me all the way through, thank you very much. And I wish you all the very best for the equinox and for the eclipse, which is the first of some to come, by the way. April looks to be a very busy time. I'll catch you again later. Thank you very much and goodbye.